Inconsistencies. I hope you're well. I hope you're absolutely thriving this beautiful, beautiful March. If you're in Queensland on the coast, I'm sending so much love to you guys right now. There are some really scary scenes up there with Cyclone Alfred approaching. Please stay as safe as possible. That includes pets, and look out for each other, because at the end of the day, everything physical, like physical items, can be replaced, such as houses. So please look out for one another. Please seek shelter if you need to, because you can't replace human lives and you can't replace animals. I'm so sorry, it has been a couple of weeks since I posted. I do work full-time as well, and this period has gotten really busy for work. I've been interstate twice in 2 weeks. Plus, I'm avoiding burnout, so I'm really just trying to do my best at the moment. I make these videos because I enjoy the process, I enjoy the editing and the research, and you guys are amazing with all the love and support you guys show on my videos. I appreciate it so much. So I'm still trying to work out like the best way to like juggle everything and do this as best as possible by creating amazing content and also fulfilling my duties at work. So yeah, I'm just gonna do my best right now. Before we get into it, please don't forget to like this video, drop a comment below, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video from me. You guys know I do a lot of videos on scammers, on deep dives. I want to try to dive in a little bit more into true crime in the future, and a lot more influencer drama as well. If you guys want me to cover a certain person, event, situation, I do have a Google form in my description, so you can submit anything. It can be absolutely anonymous, but that is where I get a lot of my ideas from. It also gives me a good idea of like what you guys want to see, and I do see this as like a community. I don't want it to be like one-sided. I want you guys to comment. I want you guys to suggest what I do next, because I feel like this is us in this together. So please get involved and drop your recommendations in the Google Doc below. Like I said, you can remain completely anonymous. You can drop an email so I can reach out if I need more information, but drop kind of like a topic and as much information as that topic as you can if it's not like widely known, so I can do the best to get as much research out of it as possible. Now if it's the AM, grab a cup of tea. If it's the PM, grab a cup of wine. I'm currently drinking Pepsi Max right now. I just had lunch. I had a full-on Subway, which I never usually have, but I have not eaten all day and I was starving, and now I'm just like full and like blah. But let's get into the rise and fall of Anna Paul part 3. If you're new here, I highly suggest you go back and watch my part 1 and part 2 just to kind of familiarize yourself with the whole situation, as this probably won't make much sense if you're just jumping in brand new from here. There is a lot to digest in this. There is a lot of information going around. So if you want this kind of chronologically, I said that really weird, but chronologically, go back and watch parts 1 and part 2. Now, I wasn't actually expecting to make a part 3 on this, and I actually wasn't even expecting to make part 2 on this, although I did, but a lot of information has come out since my part 2, so I thought, let's get up to date, let's see what's going on in the world. Because I feel like all this information that's coming out is super important to the roller coaster of a timeline that we've got. So let's throw back to February 11th. Anna has not posted anything at all since her statement that she released on TikTok. TikToker named Shelby came out and put a title on her video that said, "Anna Paul, we need to talk about your bird." Now Shelby is a bird owner, and she came out and said to Anna, "I'm not bullying you, I'm not harassing you, I just want to advocate for your little bird here." She goes on to say that Anna has a young audience, and that young audience is so influenced by whatever Anna does. So whatever Anna does post, she needs to be so careful, because her audience is going to be influenced by anything, especially when it involves pets. She mentions that Anna has had birds in the past, so she should be well aware on how hard it is to actually have a bird as a pet. That includes the dangers and the complete lifestyle change you have to make when owning a pet bird. She goes on to say that Anna had a Snapchat a few weeks ago of her birds playing with her hairless cats. She goes on to say that Anna had a Snapchat a couple of weeks ago where her bird was playing with her cats, and though it might seem really cute and fun, that's actually really dangerous. The cats are predators and birds are prey for a reason. And it only takes the slightest slip up for the bird to like nip the cat, for the cat to absolutely destroy the bird instantly. It's like when you play fight with your siblings and you're having fun and then it gets like really serious. It's like this is what would happen with the bird and the cat, except the bird would die in this situation. Shelby mentions that there is lethal bacteria under the cat's claws and in its saliva that could pretty much kill the bird instantly as well. Shelby then talks about another Snapchat that Anna made a few weeks ago as well, where Anna's bird was playing with a vape. Now the bird picked something out of the vape, like a screw or a wick. I don't know, like I don't smoke and I don't smoke vapes at all. But it doesn't matter, because either of these things are so incredibly dangerous for a bird to be playing with. Shelby also notes that the bird's wings are clipped, which is obviously not a nice thing for the bird, because at the end of the day, that's what they do, they fly. Now this could have happened prior to Anna buying it. Now Anna brought the bird at a pet store, which like is so bizarre to me, because pet shops shouldn't exist anymore. Like I don't know how they're still in business. I don't know why people are buying from pet stores. Like they're literally, it's such a horrible thing. Like please adopt where you can. Like, my beautiful dog's adopted. I love them so much. Like, do not buy them from these like bird farms or puppy farms that are going into pet stores and selling them there. Like, it's really not a nice thing. Now, at pet stores, the only birds you can buy are baby birds. So they're really cute and cuddly and quiet. But the older they get, the louder they scream, the harder they bite, and just harder to maintain and look after overall. Now, the last point that Shelby made in her video was that the birds and parrots that Anna owns and have owned in the past have a life expectancy of up to 30 years if they're happy, healthy, and safe. Now, the whole reason Anna's bird kind of got brought up in this whole situation was because only a couple of weeks before, even the week before Anna got called out by Michaela, she posted that she got a new bird. She said that her old bird, Quakesy, who she's had around for a very long time, who's been in content for years, passed away 8 months ago, and she was too sad to talk about it and too sad to bring it up. Now, in the caption of Anna's video, it said, "My Quakesy boy 2008 to 2014. Now, if we go back to Shelby's video, she said the life expectancy is 30 years. That is obviously half of that is 16 years, so something is not adding up here. Other bird owners have chimed in as well, talking about Anna and her care for birds that she shows on camera and how a lot of it is not okay and it's not right. Now, there is a lot more coming up on this bird story, but I'm going to stick to the timeline of events here and we'll carry on and we'll hear about the birds again later. Now, there are a lot of speculations on what Anna was going to do after she released her train wreck of a statement. Was she going to go back posting completely normal, like nothing has happened? Was she going to release another follow-up kind of apology addressing all the claims? Or was she going to just disappear off the internet? If you guessed the first one, you are absolutely right. She went back to posting like nothing had happened. She did not address any of the claims, none of the Addis claims, none of the illegal lottery claims. She acted like nothing was going on. She was in America like a lot of people thought, after a girl posted a TikTok saying she can see Anna, Attis and Amric at the international airport at Brisbane. Now, the first video Anna posted was on the 17th of February, which is exactly 2 weeks after her statement. She went to Six Flags in America with Amric and a friend who we've never seen or heard of before, and we're assuming Attis, although she never kind of shows him directly. Now, this was one of the big things fans noticed straight away, that Attis wasn't in videos, because she did not address any of the claims about him in her video statement. Now, she has most likely been advised by her PR team to not show Attis on camera, to pretty much pretend that he doesn't exist, because it would be really bad for her personal brand to have a convicted, yes, convicted, we'll get to that later, rapist on her channel and with fans around her. Now, the comment section was loud on letting her know exactly how they feel and how unhappy they were about the whole situation, that she's acting completely normal and just not addressing the elephant in the room. Now, Veruca Salt even commented, "The crowd is confused," which I thought was like super funny. And there was a lot, like an extreme amount of "it makes me feel broke" comments, which was so funny because obviously she's run away to America and she's at a theme park, so it was making everybody feel broke watching this. Now, one comment that was very popular was, "I knew she was going to do this, she does this every time." And of course, there were very few people in the comment section saying how happy they are to have her back, how excited they are to see her again, but they were the very few minority. Like, there was not many of them at all. Another thing people noticed was she kind of dropped the baby voice that she uses very often. The next video she posted was a day later, and it was kind of like a get ready with me vibe. She mentions that her friends have convinced her to go out in LA, and she's never been out in LA before, so she doesn't really know what to expect. She then goes and shows 3 different types of alcohol that she's gone and picked up and says she's pre-gaming. There was a couple of shots and a White Claw in that. A massive part of Anna's kind of brand and her personality was that she doesn't go out and she definitely does not drink. So this was a bit of like a switch up from her usual self. I mean, whatever that is, we don't really know who she is anymore. Let's just call it like her online persona. But fans had noticed this instantly, like, "Oh, you never drink, why are you drinking?" And it was just a massive part of like, I don't need to have alcohol to have fun. It makes me feel crappy in the morning. Now, while she's doing this kind of get ready with me video, she goes into depth about a lot of the products she's using. So it could quite be paid advertising here that she's not disclosing to fans. So she may have been like kind of under contract and required to do this video. Now, her next video was posted on the very same day, and she mentions about how she's pre-gaming and she wants food in her stomach because she's going to be drinking later. Something I don't think I've ever heard Anna Paul say ever. Now in this video, her and her posse kind of like ditch the group and go get ice cream on this night out. They're taking like cute digital pictures and she's showing off the Canon camera a lot in this, so I do believe also that this is a paid advertising that she's not disclosing to her audience. Now they visit like one of those late night food shops and she orders like this massive slice of New York pizza. She's eating it and she's showing other people eating it too. We are then introduced to these kind of friends of hers, which we've never seen before and never met before. She then tells us she's on the toilet and she's got no toilet paper, and this is definitely kind of trying to give off that vibe of like you're on FaceTime to a friend that's out on the town, but nobody is really buying her videos anymore. Everybody's over them and all the comments are saying that they just give off a different vibe now. Everybody is also saying that her acting is like crazy, and the it made me feel broke commenter again flooding in the comment section. I don't think they're ever going to go away at this point. Anna then goes to a nightclub, and that's something we haven't seen her do since probably 2019. And in this nightclub she finds a photo booth and she's in a photo booth with a girl that we've never seen before. We then cut to her in like a diner and she's found another photo booth in this diner. She then goes on to say that if she ever sees a photo booth, she stops and makes sure she takes photos in there to create memories and put them in her room. Now the next line is so interesting. She says, "I will show you the vibe so we can be a part of it together." Like, girl, we know how photo booths work. We don't need to see an extremely rich girl avoid accountability and run away to a very expensive city and watch her do a photo booth. Like, we don't need to do that. We're good. She then says she is so drunk, which leads us to the next crazy line that she says. "This is like if we met in a club bathroom. You know how people make friends in a club bathroom? That's us right now." Girl, no it is not. I promise you, we are literally watching a screen and you are drunk in another country and not taking accountability for any of your actions or any of your family's actions. That is not us right now. We are not in a club bathroom. It seems like she is desperately trying to maintain this kind of personal community she's created, and people are really not buying it anymore. It finishes with her ordering food in this diner, and she does her skincare, has a shower and goes to bed. Now that very same day, February 18th, Michaela Tesla re-enters the chat. Now, if you remember, Michaela said legal action was being taken, so she couldn't release receipts. However, with a 4-minute and 36-second video, she starts by saying she said she wanted to wait until her podcast is out to say anything, but everything she's about to talk about is so sad, sick, and fucked up that she feels like it needs to be out there and it needs to be talked about. And we all need to hear about it because Anna has just bought a new bird. Like I mentioned earlier, back in January, Anna said that her bird Quakesy had died, and he died about 8 months ago, and she was really sad to say anything about it. But she's just brought a new parrot named Kaka. Now Mick said that Anna was constantly buying new birds, and what she means by that was about one every 6 months. At one point, Anna had 5 birds. And sadly, that Anna does not care about her birds unless they're on a TikTok video. They were not being used in said TikToks, that they would be in a cage in a room with the windows closed. Mick said that when she was living with them, she would hear the birds crying and singing all the time, and that she would go in there as often as she could to try and be with them and help them. Mick then goes on to say that Anna said to her she can't wait for her birds to die because it's really hard having birds and cats at the same time. Mick said that Anna's mum would go in there and top up their water and birdseed, and that Anna's siblings came over and witnessed the exact same thing. And Michaela said this was all documented as well. Now Mick said the kicker here was when she saw Anna's bird on social media about 2 months ago, and she realised she's not seen Quakesy on social media for about 2 years. Which made her so sick to her stomach because she just knew that Quakesy was sitting in a cage in a room. And he had been there pretty much before Michaela and Addis even broke up. She heard directly from Addis's ex-girlfriend, the one that came after her, that she did not see Quakesy out of his cage, that Quakesy was in the laundry in his cage the entire time she was with Addis. Michaela then directly goes at Anna in this video and says, "You are not sad about Quakesy dying whatsoever." She said that Anna pretty much buys animals for content, and when they're useless to her, she neglects them. Now this is where it gets juicy because somebody commented on Shelby's video. If you guys remember Shelby from the start of the story, someone commented on Shelby's video and said that her boyfriend goes around and changes smoke alarms for a living. So this was when they were all living together. So Attis, Michaela, Anna, Glenn, Mama. He had to go over and change the smoke alarms and said that there was like a room full of like bird cages and birds in them. And it was the most bizarre thing he has ever experienced. Someone then tagged Michaela in that, and Michaela verified that was very much a situation. Michaela said that was one of many fucked up things that she saw in that house that did not directly involve her. And she knows for a fact that Anna is overseas right now and that that bird is sitting in a cage back at her house. Now these are obviously very serious allegations, and a lot of bird owners from the outside looking in have said something is not right with this situation, and there are many issues here that need to be fixed as soon as possible. She has also got cats and she's got a dog, which I don't think she sees much anymore since her and Glenn broke up. I'm pretty sure the dog lives at Glenn's house now, which absolutely breaks my heart because animals are not toys. Like, animals need love and attention. Like, if I literally go overseas for like a week or two, like, I'm literally looking at my dogs when I'm saying this. If I go overseas for like a week or two, I feel so like guilty that I'm leaving my dogs. Even if I'm leaving them with family members who look after them so extremely well, I feel so guilty. Like, I can't even imagine. Anna goes overseas all the time. Like, if you can't be at home pretty much 24/7 to look after your dog, apart from like going to work and stuff, it's so evident that she travels an insane amount. So she should not be owning any pets, whether it's cats, birds, dogs. She shouldn't own any pets because she cannot give them any love and attention. Now, Anna hasn't addressed any of this, which is very normal practice for her. It's obviously very hard to as well when she is overseas and obviously is not with her pets and can't show how loved and cared for they are. Now, this is when Drake enters the chat. Yes, I am talking about international famous rapper Drake. Like Drake has entered the chat here. Now, Drake was touring Australia and he went to Melbourne, he went to Sydney, and I think then he went to the Gold Coast, and he came out with a shirt on that said, "It made me feel broke." I am not joking. This is like actually insane that he did this. The fact that like Drake has involved himself in this like Australian influencer drama, like how has it gotten to this point? Now, an American influencer has entered the chat. Her name is Karina, I think. I don't know, she's an American influencer. I don't follow her because she doesn't benefit me at all. Like, there's nothing she can valuably add to my life. So I really don't follow her as an influencer. I believe she comes from like the Vlog Squad era with like David Dobrik and things like that. Now, she went on her Instagram stories and said she is done sitting here in silence while other people suffer. She says Michaela Tesla is the most narcissistic and manipulative person that she has ever met. She says that everything Mick does is for attention, personal gain, likes, views, money. And then Michaela responds on her Instagram story saying Karina doesn't know anything about her, she doesn't know her whatsoever, and that she's very much a parasocial fan of Attis and Anna. She then goes on to say that Karina invited her to the Bahamas not long after her and Attis broke up in 2023. She then found out Attis was messaging Karina during this time, and she knows that because Attis told her directly. She finishes off by saying Karina is not a girl's girl and pretty much everything she does is for male attention. And that she doesn't know Anna and that she has never met Anna ever. Now, Karina responds with a bunch of Instagram stories and like voice notes, I guess, on Insta stories as well. Now, I'm not too lazy to do this. I think it's just like a whole bunch of nothing. Like, it's very boring drama. If you guys do want to listen to it, I know there was a TikTok where someone collated pretty much everything. So I'll link that below. But like I said, it's literally just a couple of like girls going at it for no reason at all, and there's not much substance, there's not much juice, I guess, to any of this drama, so I'm just going to link it below, but I feel like it was important to add to the timeline of everything. Now, Michaela pretty much goes on TikTok and creates a whole video kind of addressing a lot of this stuff. She says that Karina is like standing with Anna and Attis on this, and even though Michaela and all of Attis's exes are like totally against Attis, and he is literally a convicted rapist, which is like insane. Now, there are court documents out there that say this. So in Australia, there's like a website where you can like purchase, like add like subscription, I don't know, or like a one-time fee, and you can like buy some like court documents, court hearings. I'm not exactly sure the depth of what you can go, but this person on TikTok has released this, and it shows that Attis, which his real name I've mentioned before is Johannes, had a sentencing hearing, and Alice Patterson, if you guys remember from my very first deep dive on this whole thing, had come out and said that yes, Anna and Attis took her to court and Alice eventually won, and I think it was to do with this whole grooming thing when they were younger. There isn't a crazy amount of details, but obviously Attis is in trouble for something because he literally has a sentencing hearing in the court. Now, this next bit is where Jeff Whitaker and Tadamoto entered the chat, which is like, again, bizarre that this has gone international. Like, I love it when like Australian drama, Australian influencer kind of drama goes viral enough to hit literally other like huge names across the ocean, especially in America, where obviously everything is so much bigger, everything's happening over there. The drama over there does not even compare to Australian drama. So the fact that this has gone all the way over there is absolutely insane. Now, I don't exactly want to share the clip of the podcast because I feel copyright might take that down and I might get in a little bit of trouble for that. So I will link the episode to the podcast below as well as the timestamp because I know it's like to the very end. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, I will link it and I will tell you when to start watching it. But pretty much, Tanner gives Jeff a little bit of a rundown on this because I think his name was brought into it when Michaela was discussing like Karina and David, and Jeff was brought into it about the whole treatment. I think that's like another whole situation. Isn't he blind in one eye or something because of David Dobrik? That's a whole, again, situation. But his name was brought up. Now, what I find so funny about this though is Tanner Mojo is like, she knows everything about this situation. She's been like watching all this drama from the start. She knows about how Michaela dated Attis. She knows that her and Anna were friends like back in the day. Like she has kept up to this like so well. So kudos to Tanner Mojo for keeping up with Australian influencer drama. Now, Tanner also brings this up on her own podcast, the Cancel Podcast, and she talks about it with Brooke. And Brooke goes on to say that she doesn't know like who to believe. Like she'll watch one video and believe them, and then she'll watch another video and believe the other person. Well, Tanner is very much team Michaela. She believes that Michaela has not lied one bit in her whole video. Tanner also says that like you just don't make up stuff that like Michaela was talking about. Like why would you make up stuff that somebody called their fans fat? Like it just doesn't make sense that you would come up with a lie like that. Now, Tanner goes on to say also that she has had some pretty diabolical apologies, to say the least. She says, this is very much pot calling the kettle black, but Anna's apology was just like so tone deaf and not at all good. Like it was so bad. It was such a train wreck, especially like it made me feel broke. She's like, is broke a character from Inside Out? Like, why did it make you feel broke? You literally grew up by the water in a mansion. Tanner was like losing her mind on how crazy this was. Tanner goes on to say she can see where this kind of underdog story of growing up broke and then becoming like very popular, famous and rich can financially benefit Anna. While Brooke said she was kind of the opposite growing up, like she would fake being rich to kind of get ahead. And it was so funny, they said it was kind of like flexing to get out of the trenches. Tanner said she wished that Anna would touch on the Attis allegations that she made in her video, while Brooke said she really wanted to see a bit more in-depth receipts from Michaela. Tanner said that Michaela absolutely hates her guts because another influencer interviewed Michaela with a tiny mic and asked who her least favorite influencer was. And Michaela said, Tanner Mojo, I hate Tanner Mojo, I hate her guts. They go on to discuss the whole situation a little bit more, but it's nothing that we haven't already heard. Again, I'll try and link that one below and I'll try and timestamp it for you guys if you guys want to go watch it. I just don't want to post it in case I get in any trouble. Now let's go back to Anna's TikTok, shall we? Fun! Now it does take me a few days to do all my research, get my timeline straight, etc, etc. Now a couple of days when I started this, there were 3 videos up that we're going to talk about. Now when I go to Anna's page, there are only 2 videos. Firstly, let's talk about the next one, which is the German one. She's in Germany with her family, and that includes Attis and her boyfriend Emmerich. And people are instantly tearing this video apart. She shows us the apartment she grew up in, and she's like, this is the window where Attis and I would wave bye-bye to Mama in the morning when she would go to work. Now, Anna has said before she moved from Germany to Australia when she was only a couple of months old, so she was not waving goodbye to Mama out the window, and she probably can't remember that if she was only a few months old. The comments are not giving up on her. They are saying she is still not taking any accountability for any of this, and she's not addressing any of the other issues. Now, the next video is an interesting one because it has been taken down as of the time I'm filming this, although it was up for a few days and I did watch it. As I mentioned at the start of my video, the coast of Queensland has been hit by Cyclone Alfred, which is obviously a very horrible and devastating situation. There's still a lot going on. People still don't have power. AFL games got cancelled in Queensland. There was a lot of flights cancelled and people aren't able to get into, I think, Gold Coast Airport and maybe Brisbane Airport. I'm not exactly sure, but a lot of flights being cancelled. I'm pretty sure the airport got closed down for a little bit. Like there is not much been going on there. You literally can't get out. This cyclone has been so scary. This is a very serious like natural disaster that Queensland is dealing with at the moment. Now, Anna is in Japan in this video. So she has literally been in 4 different countries in her last 4 videos. Australia, US, Germany, and Japan. And she starts this video by saying, I know there's a lot happening at home right now. Let me distract you from that by watching a 2-minute video. Like, let me help you out and like, let me take your mind off this horrible, insane natural disaster that's happening so you can watch my video for 2 minutes, which is so completely tone deaf. And I feel like she has not learned a single thing from anything that's happened. To think that people want to sit there and watch a video of an extremely rich girl not taking accountability, running away to Japan and just having excessive amount of money, while people at home are losing power, people can't go to work, people are losing their homes, people have actually died in the cyclone. People don't want that, and they don't want you to distract them for 2 minutes on what is happening in this natural disaster. What she's telling her audience is nothing informing, it's nothing entertaining, it's literally just her frolicking around Japan. Now, I didn't save the video before it was deleted, but I do remember some of it, and the comment section is what I probably remember the most. Now, in the comment section, people were referring to her as Scott Morrison, the old Australian Prime Minister, when he flew to Hawaii to escape pretty much the bushfires that were happening in Australia. It was a very scary, scary time in Australia when the bushfires were happening. They were very deadly. People were losing their lives, their houses. And the Prime Minister thought it would be a really good idea to go on holiday with his family in Hawaii. It probably was the most tone-deaf thing she has posted since her apology, and she hasn't posted a lot since then, so she really hasn't learned her lesson. Like I said, the video's down, I can't really refer back to it, but I do remember she got a Tamagotchi in her video. Now, if you don't know what a Tamagotchi is, it's kind of like a Japanese game. A lot of people hang it from their keys, and it's probably this big. It's got a screen, and it's like a little pet that you look after. Every day you have to feed it, you have to clean up after it, and it's pretty much, yeah, like I said, a pet in a little digital bubble. Now, the fact that she posted this after the whole bird situation, her caring for her birds in a very wrong and neglectful way, people think this is, again, so extremely tone deaf of her to do. I remember Anna did say that her Tamagotchi egg hadn't hatched yet, and people were referring to that as the Tamagotchi knows how she treats her animals, how she treats her birds back home, so it doesn't want to hatch, which I thought was very funny. The comment section on anything is pretty much the most underrated thing on the internet. They are always so funny. People are so talented in the comment sections. I'm like, how did you think of that? How did you come up with something so funny like that? Now, her next video, she's in New York City. And like I mentioned earlier, she was in a different country every single time she posts. It's definitely the situation that we made the wrong person famous. We definitely made the wrong person famous. So the New York vlog was very kind of standard, nothing crazy about it, except the funniest thing was she goes out in the middle of the day to get her nails done. Now, she gets it a bright red color. And then she goes back to her hotel room, everything's kind of normal. She talks about how she's going to go out for dinner. She then gets an Uber, goes out for dinner, and her nail colors are different. So she's completely mixing up her days and lying about what she did in New York that day and taking a dinner from another time and putting it in there, which is absolutely crazy of her to do because she is under a microscope. Everybody is looking for a reason to tear her to shreds. Everyone is looking for her to mess up, and she did. So I don't know how nobody has gone over and looked at her videos, like her PR team or anyone in her family, just to make sure that everything's okay in the video, that nothing can be used against her. But everything she's doing is being used against her because it's just stuffing up everything. People are tearing into her, and it's so wild. It's so amazing how this is happening. Now, in the video as well, she talks about if something is really far away in New York City, that you just walk there. It's a very walkable city. It's probably the most walkable city in the world, and it's not about the destination, it's about the journey along the way. There's so much to do and see in New York when you walk it, and I completely agree with that. I love New York. I try and walk everywhere I can in New York, except if it's super late at night after a Broadway show. You have to walk New York. It's just the best way to see New York. Before she goes to dinner, she says that it's too far and she has to take an Uber, and it's only not very far down the road. So again, she's so contradicting herself and lying that people are calling out every little thing she does. Now, I just want to add that I am filming this on the 11th of March, and she has taken that Japan video down, which is wild because she rarely, I do not remember the last time she's ever taken a video down. She's also not posted on her Instagram grid since Michaela released her initial video, but she does sometimes post on her Insta stories. She also has another TikTok account. I guess she uses as her backup, but she does do a lot of lip syncs to those, and that has recently become active again in the last few days. She had not posted on it since just before the whole thing with Michaela. Every time she posts, I am so hopeful that it's going to be an apology, that she's going to rectify a lot of her actions, that she's going to speak on a lot of the allegations, but it seems like this is just going to keep going and she's not going to take any accountability whatsoever. As history tells us, she's probably going to be in another country in her next video, and she's probably not going to take any accountability for anything else, and she's probably going to stuff up again, but she's just going to keep living her life and acting like nothing's happening, and having a brother and not addressing her brother's very serious claims that what has happened with him, and there is literal facts that he has been sentenced for this. Ultimately, I would like this to be the end, and I would like to not have to post a part 4 on this, but I feel like this is going to keep going for a while. The drama has died down like ever so slightly right now, but I feel like Michaela's going to come out with stuff to say. She does say she's got a podcast coming out, but I don't know. She says she's filmed it, she says she's recorded it, but I think her and her personal assistant broke up at one point very recently, so I'm not sure like the status of that whole podcast, but everybody has been hanging out for that. So if that ever does come out, I will obviously kind of do a reaction. We'll kind of digest what's going on with that. But that should be very exciting if and when that comes to fruition. Like I've done the last few of Anna's TikToks, we've kind of dissected and digested what is happening in them, the fact that she's lying in some of them, things that don't add up. So if Anna keeps going the way she is and not taking accountability, I might make another video when she posts a few more TikToks and we can dissect them and see why she's doing this, what's going on, if it's good for her personal brand, if there's any lies. So if you want any more of that from me, let me know. Like I said, I didn't want to make a part 3 on this, but obviously Drake entering the chat and Tana Mojo entering the chat, it really needed to be happen as they are both huge parts of the timeline. I also love hearing from you guys, so please, if you have any ideas that you want me to do, any scammers, any deep dives, any like Australian influencer drama that you want me to kind of dissect and look into and kind of put a whole cohesive timeline in, please let me know via the Google Doc form below. You can remain completely anonymous if you want to. Again, it's just me. I look after all this stuff. I look after my channel. I look after the editing, the filming. It's all just me. So it's only me you're talking to. I do love covering this, and I do want to get into true crime as well. So if you have any good true crime stories you want me to cover, I think I want to kind of stick to a bit of like Australian stuff. There's obviously like massive stories out there like Gabby Petito that I feel like are just being overdone, oversaturated, but I want to kind of focus in a little bit more towards home. So if you have any Australian true crime stories you want me to deep dive into, please let me know. Because I feel like it's really important to talk about what is happening in our own backyards and the people that we're passing on the street. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on Drake entering the chat. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Tana entering the chat. Like I said, when it reaches international level, I think that's crazy. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think is going to happen next. I feel like there is so much still that's going to happen with this story. And let me know what you think of Anna's like current TikToks, because again, she's trying to have that personal community happening and people just aren't vibing with it. So I'd love to hear everybody else's opinions on how they think that Anna's TikToks are being perceived and how you perceive them. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. I absolutely love reading your comments and interacting with you guys. So to never miss another video from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and again, comment below. I want to talk to you guys about this. I love you all so much. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.